historic and famous sports prize, Coupe Stanley Cup.
New York, after 54 years, your long wait is over.
It's over! The Detroit Red Wings win the Stanley Cup!
When the finals began, it was Toe Blake with the NHL record of 5 straight Cup victories against Billy Ray, coaching his first Stanley Cup team. The series opened in Montreal, and here
Esposito going with Bobby Hull to center ice. In over the blue line. Esposito trying to cut in front. He does. Oh, and Worsley makes the save. Another shot, and that goes wider than into the corner. Now it's Montreal. Saved by Glenn Hall. 1-0 for the Montreal Canadiens on a goal by Henri Richard in the first period. And we're now in the second as J.C. Tremblay behind the net, watched there by Phil Esposito. To Roberts. Cleared back. Bobby Hull traps it. He shoots. Camille Henry deflects it. He scores! And it's all tied up. 1-1. At center ice now. It's picked up by Jarrett. He lost it to Ferguson. Is in the clear. Ferguson right in on goal. He shoots. He scores! John Ferguson gives Montreal the lead by a score of 2-1. Bobby Hull clears the puck into the Canadian zone. It's knocked off the wing by Russo over for Dick Duff. He's right in front. Oh, and he just rolls it wide of the corner. Russo picks it up, takes the shot, and Glenn Hall made the save again. Now we're in the third period. Chico Mackey trying to center it. Montreal leading 2-1. It's whacked at by Esposito and Harris. Chico Mackey gets it loose. Right. Montreal Canadiens get set coming out of their own zone, led by their team captain, Jean Beliveau. Up to center, over the blue line. A quick pass for Cornwallis, number 12. He centers it. Beliveau gets it right in front, rolls to the wing. Comes to Harris, to Cornwallis, shoots, he scores! Final score, Montreal 3, Chicago 2. Montreal leads the series 1-0. Back on Montreal ice for the second game of the final series. Frank Adberry getting set to drop the puck to get play underway. All set to go, and from the draw, the Chicago Blackhawks cleared back to the Montreal defense. It's cleared over to Ted Harris, up to Ferguson, shoots it down the ice, and Glenn Hall stops it. Clears it to the blue line, but not out. Beliveau takes a shot. Another shot by Cornwallis. And down to the ice goes Glenn Hall. The puck going to the corner. Picked up by Bobby Hull. Down the ice for Bobby Hull now over his own blue line to center ice. Up to the Montreal blue line. A slap shot, and Worsley goes down and makes the save. A rebound right in. A back pass to Picard at the blue line. Picard shoots, and it bounces right in front of the net. Comes back to Beliveau, a backhand, and shoots, scores! Jean Beliveau makes it 1-0, Montreal. Chicago now on the attack, led by Esposito over the blue line, into the Montreal zone, a backhand. Oh, and that's just wide of the net. Bobby Hull tries to center right across the goal mouth, and Worsley scoops it, and it's shot down the ice. Now in the third period, and a face-off in the Montreal zone. The puck is dropped. Cleared out, and Beliveau goes to center. A long pass for Duff. Followed by Nestorenko. Chase them into the corner. Duff coming out from the side, getting away from Nestorenko. It comes over to Beliveau. A shot. Right in front to Duff. He's getting ready to score! Picked up. Final score. Montreal Canadiens 2, Chicago Blackhawks 0. Montreal leads the best 4 out of 7 series, 2-0. With the Chicago Stadium a complete sellout, we're all set for game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Montreal Canadiens. John Ashley drops the puck. Back to Elmer Vasco on the left wing. Over here to Pierre Pilote on the right side. Down the ice over the line. A shot, and Worsley makes the save. Todd Provo picks up the rebound and starts out of his own zone for Montreal. Up the center ice he goes. Shoots the puck into the Chicago zone. Henri Richard picks it up. Ahead to Beliveau. Beliveau takes a drive. It goes to Cornway. A shot. And that was saved by Glenn Hall as the first period ends in a scoreless tie. Montreal on the attack in the second period. Dick Duff on the left wing over the blue line takes his shot. And Glenn Hall made the save. And it's picked up in the corner. Sent it out in front to Russo. Russo in alone. He shoots. Oh, and Glenn Hall made a great save on Bobby Russo and covers up. Ralph Backstrom goes behind his own net. Coming down the ice now for Montreal to his own blue line. Up to center ice. Clears it into the Chicago zone. He comes back to J.C. Tremblay. A shot. Ferguson deflects. He scores! John Ferguson deflects the puck into the net. Montreal leads by a score of 1-0. Back comes Esposito of Chicago. Drop pass to Bobby Hull. Takes a shot. It's deflected right across the goal mouth. Elmer Vasco starts out of his own zone now for Chicago. A pass over on the right wing to Pierre Pilote. In over the Montreal blue line. Loses control of it. Chico Mackey picks it up. He's right on the side of the net. Pass right in front of Esposito. Oh, he deflected it and he scores! Phil Esposito deflecting the puck into the net off his skate, and it's all tied up 1-1. Now it's Bobby Hull with a long slap shot that's stopped by Gump Worsley. It goes to the corner. Picked up by Chico Mackey. Esposito takes a shot. He kicks it out in front. Goes after it again. Gets set for the backhand. And Worsley makes the save, and Chico Mackey picks it up. We're now in the third period. Stan McKean at center ice. A flip pass over to Kenny Warham. He's in the clear. Cutting in on the right side. Getting in front of the net. He shoots and scores! Chicago Blackhawks 2. Montreal Canadiens 1. Seconds remaining in this third period. Gump Worsley skating off the ice quickly. It's picked up by Chico Mackey at center ice. He shoots it down the ice and scores! Final score, Chicago Blackhawks 3, Montreal Canadiens 1. Montreal leads the series 2-1. Several hockey personalities were in Chicago for the fourth game. Don Marshall, the New York Rangers, appears on network television with Frank Selke Jr. And from the Toronto Maple Leafs, their 9-year veteran, Bob Pulford. Home ice for Chicago and a chance to tie the series. For Montreal Canadiens, Charlie Hodge is in the nets for the first time. And we're getting set for the face-off at center ice. Vern Buffy drops the puck, and it's cleared back to the Montreal defense and shot down the ice, and Chicago pick it up and clear it down the ice into the Montreal zone into the corner. It's knocked to the blue line, stopped there by Jarrett. He takes a shot, and Charlie Hodge grabs a hold of it and holds it there for a face-off. The face-off is to the left. So Charlie Hodge, Stanfield gets the draw. He shoots, he scores! Fred Stanfield makes it 1-0 Chicago. Back for Elmer Vasco of the Blackhawks. A shot by Chico Mackey goes to the corner. Back to Bobby Hull. He's getting set. A slap shot. And Charlie Hodge kicks it out. And Ted Harris knocked it to the corner. Right in front again, and Hodge had to kick that one out. Cleared down the ice. Backstrom after it. He takes a long shot, and that was stopped by Glenn Hall, and he holds it for a face-off. Bobby Hull coming out. Cleared it back. Nestorenko goes flying into the net. It goes right off its pin. In the second period, it's J.C. Tremblay over the blue line. He takes a quick shot, stopped by Glenn Hall. There's another drive, and that's stopped. Roberts knocks it right across the open net, and it goes into the corner. Stopped by Dick Duff. Here he comes with it. He takes a long shot. That's way wide. Into the corner, bounces back to the blue line. Picked up by Bobby Russo, number 15. Over to J.C. Tremblay, number 3. He passes it right in front to Duff. Duff to Beliveau. He shoots. He scores! And it's all tied up, 1-1. Kenny Warham comes back for the Blackhawks over the blue line on the right wing. Getting set. Passed it right in front for Moans. Moans tips it loose. Warham after. Oh, and he was just checked by Tremblay. It goes behind the net into the corner. J.C. Tremblay bringing it out for Montreal. A quick pass to Henri Richard in over the blue line. There's his shot. Then Hull stopped that. Another one, and he stopped it. It's behind the net. Goes to the corner, and it's cleared out. We're in the third period now. Bobby Hull races down the ice. He's cutting around Tremblay, getting right in front of the net. He scores! And it's Chicago 2, Montreal 1. Now with the score 4-1 for Chicago on goals by Hay and Hull. Doug Mullins feeds Jarrett. He's in the clear. Right in on goal. He shoots. He scores! Final score, Chicago 5, Montreal 1. Chicago and Montreal are now tied at 2 games each.
Good evening, hockey fans. This is Danny Gallivan speaking to you from the Montreal Forum, all set with a play-by-play description of the 5th game of the Stanley Cup Final Series between the Hawks and the Canadiens. Richard facing off against Esposito. The puck back to Harris. It goes to center. Richard couldn't get it, and the Hawks come in over the line. Pierre Pilote gives it off to Mackey, and he couldn't control it in front of Hodge. Tremblay taking over for the Canadiens, leads the attack up over the blue line into Chicago territory. Tremblay passing it over to the other side of Beliveau. He can't get it. He and Vasco go in on the boards. Bobby Russo, number 15, pounces in there for the Canadiens. Here's Russo right in front of the net, and he lost it there to Ravlich. Beliveau shoots, he scores! Montreal Canadiens won, and the Chicago Blackhawks no score. And jubilation reigns supreme among the Canadian supporters. Cornwallis in over the line, a pass to Russo. He shoots a hot one, and a dazzling save by Glenn Hall. In front it goes to Dick Duff. He shoots, he scores! Montreal 2, Chicago nothing. The great Bobby Hull of Chicago trying to work out on the right wing boards. He's stopped by Richard. Richard against Mackey and Ravlich. The pocket goes around the Chicago net, and he passes it right out in front of Provo. He hit the goal post. Glenn Hall covers up, and a tremendous piece of work by Glenn Hall, the Chicago goalie. Moving into the second period, the Canadiens lead the Hawks 2-0. And Montreal still on the attack, and a hot shot by Beliveau. And this one is just as hard on the spectators as it is on the players. Beliveau rounding the Chicago net. He passes it into the corner. It's J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay getting set for a pass. Over to the point it comes to Bobby Russo. Russo closing in for the shot. He shoots, he scores, and that one appeared to go in off Jarrett. Canadiens 3 and the Hawks no score. Face off in deep Chicago territory. Duff getting it over on this side of Russo. A backhand shot, and it's wide of the Chicago net. Vasco and Russo collide on the boards. Beliveau rounding out a tremendous season for the Canadiens. He's getting set. A pass goes to Duff, who tries to get by Pierre Pilote. A back pass goes to Beliveau, working in on the play. Beliveau is shot right in front, and another big save by Glenn Hall. Into the third period with the Canadiens leading 3-0. Bobby Russo all over the ice for Montreal. Circles back to the line. From the point it goes to Beliveau. He shoots, he scores! Canadiens 4 and the Chicago Blackhawks nothing. Ravlich leading the attack for Chicago ahead to Jarrett. He's going up with Melnick, who takes the pass in over the line, and a high shot. Hodge handing it off to Ted Harris. The Montreal Canadiens make it 5-0, and a goal by Richard from Provo. From center ice, the puck slides into Chicago territory, and taking over in the corner, it's Mackey. He goes to the line, and he loses it there to Tremblay, getting a break in the goal. He shoots, he scores! And the Canadiens defeat the Hawks 6-0 and take a lead in the series 3-2. The Chicago Stadium is the scene of the 6th game of the series, and two of the greatest centers in the game, Richard and Mikita, face each other as the game gets underway. From the Chicago line, Mikita has it. He's leading the attack with Moans, who takes the pass on the left side, shoots it, and a big save by Charlie Hodge. Canadiens take over in their own zone. A pass intercepted by Kenny Warren. He cleared it into Doug Moans. Now he's starting with Mikita, number 21. Here's Mikita going right in a goal. He shoots, and Hodge, a great save. Another big save by Charlie Hodge. And the Chicago Blackhawks come back to the attack. McNeil to Hall, who twists and turns at the line. A pass over on this side to Ravlich to McNeil, and he shot it wide of the Montreal net. Vasco back for Chicago. His shot is off the boards. Now the Hawks get it again. Esposito to Bobby Hull right in front, and a big save by Charlie Hodge. The Montreal Canadiens with Ted Harris shooting a shot that eventually goes to the corner. Hay, who has had a great series for the Hawks, not only offensively but defensively, goes around the net. He loses the puck. It's Ferguson roaming in there for the Montreal Canadiens. A pass back to Ted Harris. Now Harris is getting set. Over it comes to Backstrom. He scores! Montreal Canadiens 1, Chicago 0. And as the play moves into the third period, Vasco right back, right in on goal. He shoots the rebound, another shot. They score! Chicago 1, Montreal Canadiens 1. Beliveau into Chicago territory. He stopped. Tremblay keeping it in there. Here's a shot right in front of the goal, and a sparkling save by Glenn Hall, and that saves the day for Chicago at that particular time. Face off in Canadian territory. Back to the line to Pierre Palat. Working toward the corner to Mikita. Mikita to Moans. He shoots, he scores! Chicago 2, Montreal 1, and now the series is tied at 3 games apiece. The 7th and final game at the Montreal Forum, and this has been a homer series with the visiting team yet to win a game. The Canadiens go to the attack. It's Beliveau off the boards. He shoots it. Around the net it goes to the other side. Warren lost it to Russo. Russo a back pass. Beliveau shoots. He scores! And the Canadiens lead 1-0 after 14 seconds of play. Mackey, a long shot for Chicago. It's wide. Worsley back in the nets for the Canadiens. Now Montreal starting out a long lead pass to Berenson at center and over the Chicago line. He shoots, and Hall, a great save. And the Canadiens throwing a blistering first period attack at Chicago. Russo over on the left side to Duff, going in with Beliveau. Beliveau a back pass. Duff is around the net. He centered it. It goes by the far side. Beliveau, the outstanding performer in the series so far. From the corner, the puck goes up on the boards. The Canadiens get it again. Here's Beliveau going in with Duff. Over to Duff. He shoots. He scores! And the Montreal Canadiens lead 2-0. Billy Ray, the coach of Chicago, is a worried man at this particular time. Beliveau again for Montreal. A long blue line shot. Berenson couldn't get the rebound. And the Hawks are starting back. They're having a difficult time trying to get on track here at the Forum in Montreal. Bobby Hull, a backhand shot right on. Ravlich cleared it ahead. Esposito gets it ahead in front of the net. Mackey tries to shoot it by Worsley, and he's stymied in front of the net. Provo ahead to Cournoyer. Cournoyer getting a break, going right on a goal. He shoots, he scores! Montreal Canadiens 3, Chicago Blackhawks no score. And the Canadiens continue their attack. Ted Harris off the boards, has Richard with him. Richard in front, a backhand shot. He scores! Canadiens 4, the Hawks nothing going into the second period. Nesterenko down on the right side. He's getting set. He shoots it. Worsley out of the net to make a big save. Face off in Chicago territory. Up on the left wing boards. Here's Duff going in for the shot. The rebound to Russo. A remarkable save by Glenn Hall. And now we move into the third period with Duff getting a breakaway. Hall, another big save. Another save. And now time beginning to run out. Only seconds remaining in the game. And the fans sense a Stanley Cup for the Canadiens. The game is over and the Canadiens win the Stanley Cup for the 13th time.
Jean Beliveau accepted the Stanley Cup from Clarence Campbell, president of the National Hockey League. Mayor Jean Drapeau of Montreal joined with the faithful fans to pay tribute to the victorious Canadiens. Handshakes for the proud coach, Toe Blake, team president David Molson, and general manager Sam Pollock. Jean Beliveau's modest words following the cup victory were particularly significant.
It's a great pleasure for me to express, on behalf of all my teammates and all members of the Montreal Canadiens, how pleased we are to win the Stanley Cup, not only for us, but for all of you, our good supporters. Thank you very much.
Perhaps nowhere in the world is a team more enthusiastically supported by their fans than are the Canadiens. Nowhere in the world is the roster of past hockey stars better remembered. Win or lose, that extra touch of spirit and verve les Canadiens bring to the sport helps to make hockey the fastest and most exciting game of them all.